Hello everyone, this is Patricia from TarantulaHeaven.com. We have Miss Spidey, my Chilean rose hair, right here. And today I wanted to talk to you about a very important part of tarantula anatomy, the tarantula heart and the heartbeat. Well, more specifically, the heartbeat. So I actually didn't know too much about tarantula heartbeats when I first started out. It wasn't until a few years later that I started to do some research into tarantula anatomy, and I was trying to kind of learn everything that I could about it because I was trying to produce my tarantula guide. And it was through that project that I actually learned a lot about inner workings of tarantulas. And there's actually there are really cool videos on YouTube about tarantula heartbeats and even some really cool articles. So I'm going to put some in the links below, as well as my tarantula guide if you're interested in that. But I recently found out some more information that is not in my tarantula guide, and I wanted to share it with you. Tarantulas actually have a double heartbeat, and the heartbeat in particular, or just the heart, fascinates me because we really do, one, know very limited amount about tarantulas, but also we really kind of dumb down their bodies because we're just like, well, they don't have a brain like we do, they don't have emotions like we do. Neurologically, and the setup of their body is inferior. And so I really like the new information that's coming out about these animals actually being a lot more complex than we think. And so it turns out that tarantulas and their hearts actually have a different kind of contraction going on in their heart. So the way that the tarantula blood goes through the heart causes that double heartbeat. And I'm gonna link to that article below because it's quite fascinating. You should read it. But they put tarantulas in an MRI and they measured the tarantula's heart rate. And I love that we can use MRIs and our medical instruments to look at tarantula activity and hearts and heart rate, because it was found that the resting heart rate of an unrestrained spider was 48 beats per minute. And here's something really interesting. After forced exertion or forced exercise, and I don't really know what that constitutes as, like, does that mean that the spiders were bothered, or that they were running after prey, or that they felt that they were in danger so they were running? These spiders' heart rates can actually get to 176 beats per minute. And then when those spiders were resting and restrained, they were about 138 beats per minute. So maybe those spiders were a little bit stressed out because they felt like they couldn't get out of a certain place, or maybe they were kind of gaining back their energy. And the heart rate of spiders, tarantulas, does depend on their size and also their foraging energetics. This can vary in quite a range of heart rates. So in the study, I believe they had kind of figured out the heart rate for 18 different species of spiders. I think the resting heart rate could be anywhere from 9 to 125 beats per minute. So there's a lot of diversity there, and that's really, really fascinating. I think we can really look into, why does one spider have such and maybe they're even like close to each other in size, but a very different response than to another as far as their resting heart rate. And I was also really, really surprised that a tarantula that's exerting itself has such a high heart rate compared to when it is resting. It's almost like what would happen with any animal that exerts itself, and see that it can happen in a creature to where we're kind of like, oh, it doesn't really have a real heart, or it doesn't really have any real body mechanisms like we do, or like a dog or cat does. I think that's quite cool to figure out, and I am very excited about what MRIs might actually teach us about spiders in the future. So I wanted to share that with you. There's been a lot of really cool videos on YouTube about the tarantula heartbeat, particularly after a molt, because the heartbeat tends to be more visible. You can almost see it kind of like moving a little bit or pulsing. And so there's some really beautiful, wonderful videos on the internet about that, which I'll link below. But I'd love to know if you know anything interesting about tarantula or spider hearts. And if you have actually seen the heartbeat, that would be so cool to hear about. And I hope this was useful and kind of piqued your curiosity about tarantula anatomy and tarantula heart rates. I will see you next week for Tarantula Tuesday. Take care. Bye-bye.